Oh, look at this. There's all the names.
And there we are. Hey, folks. Thank you for joining us. I just lost my
I
train
can't
of
get in the
thought for
door.
a second. And oh, there goes Ben. All right. This is how we roll, yo. It's okay. We've got look at this screen. Oh my god, there's so many people. Oh, this is so exciting. Hey everyone, welcome to So Chatty. I'm your host, So Many Games, aka Matty. And oh, whoa.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Ryan tonight.
And what just happened? Oh boy. What just happened? Oh gosh, Ryan and Kim flipped. Awesome. Okay. I misjudged where those screens were going. Awesome. So that's all my fault. This is how I roll. It's okay. I'll fix it right now. While I talk. I am here with the cast of the Beholder's Eye podcast.
Just Beholder's Eye. That's the evil twin you're talking about.
Oh, fudge.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said fudge. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody came out 8 days after us and put a "the" in front of it. So
That's okay. That was the discussion Kim and I were having weeks ago. Okay. All right. Yeah. I remember stuff all the time, right? No.
It's okay. Ben doesn't.
Uh, so where are we? Let me find. Okay, there's Ben. There's Ryan. Okay, we move Ryan over there. There we go. Let me grab. Where's Kim? Kim's there. Okay, we put Kim back there. And Ryan. Boop. There we go. Awesome. I'm gonna have to do that again for the thank you screen. But that's okay. We'll worry about that. Or they can just switch names again. It's fun. So now that everyone's got the right names, why don't we introduce our guests? We're gonna go around the room. And because I am old and I don't want to mix up the names as Alex did many, many times when I was listening to the show. I was really enjoying that. That was fun. I'm like, gosh, you've already introduced Kim and you're still okay. I'm all right. It's fair. It's fair. These names, they're so alike.
they're very close.
So close.
Yeah. We mess it up again next week too. So
I'm pretty sure over the next few weeks, even Ben calls himself Margraine.
oh yeah, Ben calls
Actually,
himself
a couple
Margaret.
times. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
My
Uh,
character, I can't get my own name right.
I love it. That's fantastic. Okay, well, Ben plays Magnar Skullgrim. Ben, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, buddy.
Thank you.
Kim, you're my good friend. Thank you for being here. She plays Zalara of Termez. How you doing?
I am well. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Alex is the evil dungeon master, or just the dungeon master. Like, why does it have to be evil? Like, he's just doing his job,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun.
We
So does
call
the
it like
Nazis.
it is on Beholder's Eye.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't listened to every episode, but I've listened to a number of them, and I don't think he's very evil.
Okay.
Thank you.
I do think that the players tend to get you guys roll a lot of death saves. That is one thing I will say. There are a lot of death saves.
It's weird to go an episode without a death save. I think in our show.
I mean,
It really is.
it really
It is a common thing with your dungeon masters rolling 20s all the time.
seems to be a trend. I don't know. I don't see that very often in my games, but maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to judge. Sam plays Margraine Silverbeard. Yeah, not a dwarf, folks. Not a dwarf. Sam, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, and he's totally a dwarf.
Yeah, sure. Just like Just like Noakes is a dragonborn, right? Yeah, no, he's not. And finally, Ryan plays Hibonite. Ryan, how you doing, bud?
I'm good. I'm good, thank you.
And Ryan is joining us from across the pond there. So it is like super late. I really appreciate you being here with us.
It's a good thing I'm a night owl.
A lot of us are. You know, it's the thing about gamers. I don't know if it's a coincidence, you know. But and of
If
course,
we liked the sun, I don't know that we would have discovered role-playing games.
I think that's probably it. Yeah, you know. I think that's probably a condition Gary Gygax had, maybe. You know, that's where it all began. I'm not sure. So I have some questions to get the ball rolling here. But folks in chat, there is the suggestion box underneath the video screen. You can go ahead and post any questions that you might have for the cast or for the group or for any individuals here. We'll take them all, and we will try to get through them as best as we can. But we love you to join the conversation. So I'd like to start these with, because this is really a show that's based around the TTRPG Twitter community, and really just talking about role-playing games and all that jazz. So I'd like to ask about how it all began for our guests. And so we'll go around the room, and but why don't we start over on the other side, and we'll start with Ryan. Ryan, tell us about your introduction to tabletop role-playing games.
So my introduction, I was at school when it was a group of friends. I got suggested, we were talking, we've got a game called Shadowrun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was great. I built a fighter sort of character, and we never got into a single fight. We avoided every single fight in every way we could. So I spent a lot of time just making suggestions.
Wow. Okay. I ran a lot of Shadowrun in high school, and I don't know if we fought a lot. There were a lot of fights, so that's fascinating.
Our DM at the time tried to introduce a fight to get my character to do something, and we had a magic caster at the time who just turned our van invisible, and we avoided the entire fight that way.
Well, that's definitely one way to do it. And how long ago was that?
Probably going back about 5 years or so.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 6.
Okay. Because I don't like to assume ages and things like that. I don't know what school means sometimes. So I like to ask, because I'm old. I'm an old man. You know, I am 41 years old, folks, and
Holy shit.
I'm an old fart. So, you know,
I'm 36. I'm not that far behind you.
And he keeps trying to think that he's older than I am, but we were born the same year, dude.
After me.
By 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Or so.
There you go. Oh, thank you, Kristen. But I am. Sam, what about you? What was your introduction to tabletop role playing?
My introduction to tabletop role playing was the internet, of all things. You know, I watched. I think the first thing that I ever saw that caught my eye of tabletop role playing was actually, SourceFed on YouTube.
I don't.
From forever ago. Well, there was this channel called SourceFed on YouTube, and they had Matthew Mercer as a guest on to show them how to play Dungeons and Dragons, because this was right after Critical Role launched.
Oh, okay.
So that was my kind of first kind of soiree into having anything to do with tabletop role-playing games, and it took me a couple of years to build up the courage to actually like try and play. So I started playing about 2 years ago on Roll20. So yeah.
Okay, that's still
Yeah.
relatively recent, but
Yep.
gosh, and you guys are like 3 weeks away from an anniversary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
40th
Crazy.
episode in
First year.
that's
Four-
exciting.
4 weeks. Yeah.
Dang, yeah.
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 It's gonna be really cool.
Oh, gosh. That's great. Alex, what about you?
I think we started with role-playing games. I think there was a board game version of Dungeons and Dragons that came out back in the early '90s. It had a big black box on it, the red dragon attacking a warrior,
Right.
and it came with little cardboard stand-ups. And it came with, I don't remember what edition of the rules, but it wasn't the first Dungeons and Dragons rules, but it was, I don't know if it was the red book or I don't know. Ben, do you remember?
It was the Red Book.
It was a red book. So it came with that. So Ben and I played that together. And then, so, I mean, I guess that was our introduction really, right? Because Ben and I are brothers, if you didn't know. So,
Okay, I did not know that. There we go.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
I-
Ben's
I-
my little brother.
I pay attention to everything. No,
It's
really.
never mentioned in the podcast, so
Never mentioned once.
Okay, awesome. And I'm trying to think back, like if Kim ever brought it up, but I don't know.
I think Kim was on our show for like 5 episodes before she knew.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It might have been. No. It was before that. We were in the Discord and somebody mentioned something and I was like, that's a really weird thing to say. And then it was like, oh, you're brothers. Okay, that makes more sense.
Ah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, that's fair.
And it actually is mentioned in the very first blog post on the site. So
Yeah, you mentioned it yourself, Alex.
Yeah, on the site, but I mean, who reads that?
Nobody.
Well,
I can give you the numbers.
I
5.
I was on the site today. I downloaded a few of the episodes because I like to listen to stuff in Spotify.
Nice.
You know, just because I like Spotify. I use it all the time. And I was listening to the podcast in iTunes, and iTunes is kind of you know, as a Windows user, iTunes is kind of a what do you call it? A resource hog of a program, and
Yeah.
I work with Adobe software like all day long, so that's enough of a resource hog for me. Like, I don't need another one. So, I was downloading some episodes for Spotify. I was reading a few things here and there, but I didn't catch that. So, you know.
And we're on
Yeah.
Spotify now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we are on
you?
Spotify.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I know I was
For
looking.
some reason, it took us forever to get on there.
Okay.
But
They denied our application 8 times.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Wow.
lovely. Wow.
Yeah.
What a bunch of
Yeah.
punks.
I know.
Because we're too awesome, it can't handle it.
Right.
Yeah.
It was.
That's it. That's fair. I believe it.
And now I don't think you're ready for this jelly is in my head. So thanks for that.
Oh my God. Oh, I love that song. Oh, I love that song. Oh. I mean, seriously, if I could get the clearance for it, that would be my theme song. It would. I would. I am terrible at doing it, singing it, but I used to sing it for karaoke all the time just so I could dance to it. You know, it was fun. And yeah, I used to drink a lot, so whatever.
I don't need to drink. I'll just do it anyway.
That's what you do when you do karaoke. You drink, especially if you have social anxiety. Anyway,
Fair.
yeah, fair. So I'm guessing that so the introduction to tabletop role playing for Ben would be similar. You
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
You guys started
at the same
together.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, we mostly played GURPS.
Okay.
Because my dad was like D&D is evil,
Mhm.
even though he'd never even seen it.
Yeah, of course. But that
But
was
my mom was
yeah.
like, play whatever you want. So we played GURPS. We played West End Star Wars.
Okay.
D20
A lot
Star
of that.
Wars when it came out, but that was I think right before Alex graduated high school, maybe.
Yeah.
And
So it was
then
3.5 days.
okay, yeah, and then we started 3.5, and then I took a 15-year break from RPGs, and then I just got started again. I think Alex suggested Sneak Attack podcast, and I was
okay.
like, why would I want to listen to people playing RPGs? That's stupid. um, and so I started
It's a
listening
whole
to
nother
it.
level of nerd.
Yeah, and I was like, this is awesome. And then one of my friends was like, hey, I've been thinking of starting a D&D session. You want to join? I was like, sure. And then like a week later, Alex was like, hey, I've been thinking of doing a D&D podcast. And I was like, sure. So and that was like a little over a year ago. So a year and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, we both took a pretty long hiatus. I also took 13 years off from it, and then got back into it because I had a round trip 3-hour commute, so I needed stuff to listen to.
Oh,
and
okay,
I
yeah.
was burned through my Audible subscription real quick. So I found D&D podcasts, and then ended up getting onto Roll20 when I realized where I live. Yeah, and also, being in your mid-30s, it's where do you go?
Awkward.
Yeah, it's awkward.
Yeah, you go to those. You go to the local game store, and it's just a bunch of young folks, and yeah, I mean, you feel
Right, and
really out of
I've been-
place. Yeah.
Exactly. I live in a college town, so it's just
Yeah.
basically it's just looking at my youth and feeling sad about my age the whole time. So I got onto
I feel you. I feel you.
got onto to Roll20, and that's actually how I met Sam and Ryan in the first game that I don't know for Ryan, but I know for Sam and I was our first long-term game.
For me, it was the first game of Dungeons and Dragons I ever played. So
Okay.
I had bought books and I had read through everything. I go kind of whole hog into stuff, and the
No.
first kind of campaign that I ended up in was with Alex and Brian. So it was pretty cool.
Okay. That's
Still by accident, I turned up in that game as well. I got my 12 o'clock, my AM and PM mixed up. Well, I first looked into it, it's like, oh, I'll stick around for the first one because I've committed to it now. And then, almost 2 odd years later,
Yep.
Yeah,
nearly 3 now, I think it's.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. 'Cause we played for a whole year before we decided to start doing the podcast.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess 2 years, almost.
Yeah.
3. But yeah, so that's kind of how we all got into it. And then I decided the first time I was going to DM again after 13 years, we just record it, and that's episode 1 through 3.
Okay.
so-
Yeah.
That was
If
the
you're like,
first
"Hey,
time I ever spoke to Ben in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
As soon as we started recording, it's like, hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, now create an emotional bond.
Well, near-death goblin fights do that to you.
Yep.
First
That-
hit.
That
almost knocked me
stuff.
out.
That stuff can. Honestly, that stuff can come quickly though. It's a weird experience though. Gaming with a group, I'm sure you guys can attest. That you bond fast, and because it feels like you're literally going through war together, and yeah, those bonds bond fast and stay strong for a very long time. So Kim, what about
Yo.
your introduction to tabletop role playing?
I started in, oh gosh, it's been over a year now. Last December, my son, we'd been listening to The Adventure Zone, which, yeah, I know there's a lot of cussing, but it was such a good story. Then my son, who's now 11 at the time, he really, really, really wanted to start playing. And so I just bought the starters kit on Amazon. I was like, I listened enough. I can probably figure this out. So then I started trying to DM for him. And I don't know if you've ever tried to DM for an 11-year-old and a few of his friends, but it's hell. I don't recommend it.
Not when you are 11. So
Well, fair. I mean, he was then immediately trying to DM for his friends. So that was fun. But anyway, so then I did that, and then I was starting my own podcast, and so I was bugging all these podcast people I knew on Twitter and being like, "Hey, how's your podcast work? What do you use for this? How do you do your audio editing, et cetera, et cetera?" And so you crazy beholder's eye people were like, "Hey, you should listen to my podcast," and I was like, "Okay," and then I got confused and listened to the wrong one, and then I was like, "Okay, so I have some critiques for you," and they were.
She wasn't. I mean, it wasn't even that polite. It was like, okay, I listened to it. I was like, I hope you like it. And you wrote back, well, I didn't. And so I asked you what.
I'm sorry.
No, it was great because then I said, well, what didn't you like about it? And you started talking about something. I'm like, that's not us, man. Not us at
I
all.
don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then once she heard Ryan's British tones there, she was hooked. And
It's very true. It's completely what told me.
It is one of the drawing factors, honestly. Like, it's a pretty great voice. Yeah.
I thought it was the death saves, honestly, was the drawing factor to it.
That too. I mean, come on. I really can't get over that.
You want a podcast where somebody almost dies every single week? We got that for you.
Seriously. I'm surprised that you're all still alive.
Well, that's one of the things I do try and do on purpose. I mean, I figure each one of our episodes gets cut down to somewhere between, on a really short one, like 35 to an hour and 5 minutes. That's not a lot of time.
Yeah.
And it only comes out once a week. I mean, if this were it's one of the things I try and do where I approach it as a show as opposed to if I'm running a game for some friends. You know what I mean? Like, you got to think of it in terms of what's episodic, what's exciting, and mowing through a bunch of low-level goblins, even though that's what you were supposed to do at the first episode and failed at, is not exciting. So I purposely try and make it, sometimes I'll get on, was it Kobold Fight Club? And if it's not at the deadly level, I'm like, well, then why would I? That's not exciting.
That's fair.
They're just going to win.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I think that's, yeah. I really didn't think about it that way, but yeah. I mean, hey, I don't play in the game. I'm okay. I'm just listening. So
we haven't had one permanent character death, so
that's fantastic.
Well, we probably should have had 4, but it's a podcast, so.
Yeah, that first episode, or the first time recording, the end of episode 3, when everyone gets crushed by rocks because they can't roll well enough, and because I was new to DMing again and didn't realize that a DC of 15 for first level
level 1 characters is a little bit hard.
That's insane. Yeah, there was some rookie mistakes there.
Yeah, I get that. Coming back to the game, it's totally different too. Yeah. I get that. I understand that. So, and it's funny because I was going to ask how y'all were introduced or how y'all met. We covered that, so that's awesome. Though I was, because I do this thing, before guests come on, I'll go through their Twitter feeds, just kind of get to know these folks a little bit better before I get a chance to talk to them. Obviously, most of you guys aren't big Twitter aficionados,
I think that's an understatement.
And I in particular, Sam, that is a really, really sad Twitter feed. It's just so quiet, and I mean, it basically starts when the show started, and then it's like I don't even know if there was much in the last few weeks. And
so I have Twitter installed. I look at it. I don't retweet.
It's hard to do that. I mean, you press the button.
Yeah,
Man.
I put Twitter on my home screen on my phone so that it's like, okay, it's right there. I'll remember that it's there. And then I'll go about a week and it's like, I haven't even looked at Twitter. So I'll open it, and then it's like, oh, there's like 900 new things since you've, or 2000. It's like, okay, and then I just close it again. And that's my current dynamic with Twitter.
Okay.
Every now
Only
and
like an eighth of those are from me, so
yeah, and every now and again I'll open it up and I'll attempt to, and then I see a really nice picture of a rat or something, and I'll retweet a rat, and it's like, there we go. Okay, I've twittered, and that's my Twitter for like 3 more weeks.
That's okay. I mean, hey, yeah, it's okay.
You want to see somebody in on social media? Check out my Tumblr, and then we'll be like just all day long.
Yeah, I guess that's the other side of the coin, because I don't think I've ever really been on Tumblr. I made an account because I think when I opened the shop, I opened an account because it was one of the social media accounts I could add to the page or something, and I was like, okay, I'll start this Tumblr thing. I literally started an account and walked away and never looked back, and I don't even know. I can't even remember login or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know what Tumblr
LastPass,
is.
Matty. You're supposed to have LastPass to save all your passwords.
Yeah, I have LastPass. I don't use it quite enough. I'm stupid. Anyway. But one of the things I did see is I literally saw, because I could get down to the bottom of your scroll pretty fast, which is not easy to do most of the time. I saw. I know, it's okay. I'm fine. Judge me all you want. Is that literally right before you guys started, there's Kim, just like, ooh, a new podcast. I was like, oh, okay. Well, that's how Kim found it. How did that happen? What was the story behind there, Kim? Finding the podcast and stuff like that.
Literally, the Beholder's Eye account, which I now know is Alex, followed me, and I followed him back and was like, hey, Alex was like, hey, we have a podcast. Listen to it if you want. I was like, okay, cool. That's how I met.
Okay.
And then eventually we started chit-chatting, and then I was like, hey, so do you have tech advice? And then he introduced me to Sam, and
Yeah.
Oh.
And then she at one point she posted, oh, I wish I could play on some game. And I think it was kind of a universal, hint, hint, hint. And we were like, well, like Kim, she has a good voice. We should snatch her up.
That's not how it went at all. He's lying through his teeth. So Alex messaged me as soon as she did it, and he's like, should we add her? I'm like, I don't know. We don't know this person at all, and he's like, no, she seems really cool, and if she doesn't work out, she doesn't work out. I'm like, okay, whatever. And we add her on and everything, and we go through our first kind of recording session with her, and it's like, and then she's just been here. So that's how we got Kim.
I actually forgot that for 15 episodes she was not part of the podcast.
I know, it's weird.
Aww.
Yeah, it's weird because the podcast wasn't the same before that.
no.
And when people ask, for an example of what our show is, turn them to episode 15, just because it's where she comes in. You can understand it if you're not familiar with our podcast, what's going on, and then it gives you more of a feel of what our show is now for the next, 40, almost 50 episodes.
It'll be 30, actually, but yeah, math.
Well, the next.
I got a degree in theater, so.
With a minor in English, right? So.
Oh yeah, and philosophy.
So those things don't include math. So there you go. It's all good.
Yeah. Also, I think pre-15, when we had our major audio issues. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think around 12 we started to pick up. But...
I'll admit that I listened to the first episode and a half.
Oh, it's painful.
And I was like, okay, there's no Kim. So let me just skip ahead to where she's introduced just so I can like, and yeah, I did. I was like, okay. And I start listening there and I'm like, oh, okay. And then it was like, I think I went through at least like 3 to 4 episodes in one sitting. And yeah, from there, yeah, I was hooked. So
Yeah, it's a good introduction. And I think it's one of those things. I mean, from the beginning, before we started, we asked every woman in our lives, like, hey, do you want to be on this podcast? Because I just, I've listened to so many podcasts that there are some good ones that are, all male, some good ones that are all female. But the best ones, in my opinion, are mixed gender. Yeah. And so I was, I really wanted somebody. And then the fact that Kim promoted us like crazy, I think because of a little guilt to begin with. And then she had her own show and, understood podcasting and, was really passionate about Dungeons & Dragons. It was like, all right, this is,
it's kind of a perfect
to somebody else.
Yeah, it's kind of a perfect fit. And that is very true. If she didn't end up on your podcast, she would be on somebody else's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I am on somebody else's.
And then you would have to do the social media. And
I'm just saying,
I know. And then it would be up to me to retweet us on Twitter, and it would
boy,
it would be rough.
It'd be a shit show.
Oh boy, wow. Yeah, nobody wants that. Thank goodness you got Kim. Oh, life is good.
Yeah, Kim.
So, we do have some questions. So we've gotten some questions from the audience, and so I want to get to some of those. Because we've got they were popping those questions in real quick. So our first one is from Kristen. She's under the handle That Feeling When Fangirls Attack. She's a friend of the show, and she's won a couple giveaways. She's awesome. I love her. And her first question for us is, what's your favorite gaming snack? That's a great question.
beer.
Oh.
That is a snack.
Yeah.
Considering I'm almost always on stream or podcasts while playing, I like Lara bars because you can eat them quietly.
Okay, yeah. Cool. I'm all about the quiet food. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've tended to lean towards fried chicken. I don't know why. I've found myself playing Dungeons and Dragons and eating fried chicken more than I would care to maybe admit to most people.
Wow.
That's why your camera goes dark when we record.
That's a new one.
Just shamefully eating it in the dark.
I dim all the lights. It's just,
Oh my gosh! It's like, oh god, I almost made a mistake and told the thing to turn off my lights, but I'm not going to do that. But yeah, oh boy, I don't know why I set that thing up, but yeah, it's convenient.
Yep.
So fried chicken, okay. I like that. I have a thing about my hands, like being greasy and stuff, but I'm not here to judge. I like it. Fried
I'm here
chicken's
to
delicious.
judge. That's fucked up, man.
Well, people have said that my eating habits might be a little bit of something that less than desirable. Like I was once told, would you like to go and buy a personal cheesecake? And I went, aren't all cheesecake personal? So this is just me. Yeah.
You're not married, are you, Sam?
Oh, I am.
Okay,
I am.
Okay.
I don't know how, but yeah, he is.
All right. All right. Hey.
Successfully married for 2 years and in a long-term relationship for the past 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
With personal cheesecakes. All right. Oh.
Well, you just buy 2 cheesecakes.
Okay. All right. I'm good with that. I I I literally buy the slices of cake that the grocery store sells in the container. I buy like 3 of those. They're for me, not for anybody else. So yeah, I get it. It's okay.
I mean, it's only 3 though, right? So
At a time, yeah, only 3.
Or
I mean, yeah, it sounds like moderation to me.
I feel weird when I put more than 3 in the cart.
You put 6 in, and then whenever you're checking out, you're just like party.
Yeah, no. Also, you just get over the looks real quick. I can tell you from experience. The cashier looking at you with that kind of just like, what are you doing with your life? Really, just it fades after a couple of times.
No,
So,
I get that. I get
we were
that.
just here yesterday.
I've been dealing with those looks my whole life.
yeah.
I get that. I get that. Ryan, what about you? What's your go-to gaming snack?
It's Maltesers for me.
What's that?
Nice, Maltesers. Is that not an American thing?
No. They're like
I
Whoppers.
try to
Yeah,
refer to
Whoppers.
you guys as
Waffles.
it's
I totally heard Jesus, and I was like, "You're taking communion while
Oh, are you saying?
I don't eat at all. I
Oh,
just eat
Maltesers?
I like chocolate sweet.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Yeah, malted milk balls.
Oh,
I thought you said small cheeses. So
I did too.
I was hearing more cheeses, and then I heard Maltesers, and I'm like, oh, is that your dogs? Like, aren't those dogs? And I don't know.
It's not a mumble. Yeah.
They're delicious, if that helps.
Well, most snacks over that you get in the British aisle, like the biscuits and stuff like that, if they've got chocolate on them, oh my god, their chocolate's so much better.
McVitie's chocolate digestives.
One
Or
of my friends,
something.
Oh my god, I love those. Oh.
biscuit, chocolate cookie, and then chocolate coating on the outside.
Oh,
So good.
Terrible
Oh my god.
for you, but really nice.
I have a question though. Isn't all food digestive?
It gets digested. I'll give
so
you
that's
that
a
one.
misnomer, Alex. They're basically graham crackers, but back in the old days, they were said to help with your digestion.
Ah,
Yeah.
see.
Those old things that we used to say and do, and like prescribe heroin to people, or
We
well,
still do that.
we still
It's
do
just
that.
Oxy.
Yeah.
It's the other thing. What was I thinking?
Cocaine?
Yeah, cocaine to people.
Cough drops?
Oh,
Was
boy.
it?
I don't know. It's
I mean, we used to put the cocaine in our Coca-Cola.
yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
People
saw
some maniacs.
Oh,
I saw a
Sorry
really
about
cool
that
picture
earlier.
of children's cough syrup, which was heroin, cocaine, and morphine. So there
God.
you go.
well, that'll definitely stop him from coughing. Maybe living.
Among other things, yeah.
I mean,
I mean, let's just face it. In a positive light, they did not have overpopulation issues back then, right? So,
fair,
This is true.
fair.
Don't
I'm just
vaccinate
saying.
your kids.
right.
Oh, great advice! Great advice here tonight on So Chatty for sure. Okay, Ben, what about you? What's your go-to snack?
Honestly, beer is the thing I consume most.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you
here-
here whiskey in there too.
Oh yeah, actually, I love whiskey. I'll usually during the session I'll have like a kind of an Irish coffee, just because I like the coffee and I like the whiskey. So, and it doesn't crunch when you're recording, which
Yeah.
is always a positive. However, I did have mac and cheese and hot links one time, and I muted our Discord, but I did not mute my Audacity. So Sam had to go through all that, and then that was fun for him.
It was a joy.
Oh,
But then my weekly game, my friends and I, it's face to face, so we always get like pizza, burgers, just whatever. So anything
Yeah.
that's not good for you, I'll eat. So
well, that just sounds like It sounds like what we did in high school. You know.
Yeah, I haven't grown up. So.
Yeah. I haven't either. You know, it's okay.
I mean, on the D&D podcast, I haven't grown up.
Growing up is overrated. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's this work thing?
Definitely.
Oh boy. That was such a harmless question too.
We go off the rails real
I know.
quick.
I love it.
Worried about filling up the time. We will do that.
I am not worried about filling up the time, and I am having a fantastic time right now. This is awesome. And and Alex, was your answer beer? Was that the first answer I heard?
No,
Okay.
I haven't answered. I don't really eat during it because I talk a lot. So I drink, basically I just pound coffee and Diet Dr. Pepper interchangeably.
Okay.
And
So
that's
gross.
about it. I say
With ice. I can tell there's ice.
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I'll have 2 Yeti cups, one filled with coffee, one filled with Diet Dr. Pepper with ice.
Yeah.
I literally have like a couple of these next to me like all the time, and yeah, they're filled with ice too. So yeah, they make a lot of noise and whatever. Streaming's a little different, you know. There's at least some like visuals to focus on. You don't hear every little thing all the time, as opposed to a podcast where that's all you've got is what you're listening to. And
Right. Well, and that's kind of the thing about podcast versus streaming is you're looking at an edited product at the end of the day, as opposed to more of the live action feel.
that's true.
So when you're getting an edited product and something messes up, you really, really notice it, as opposed to, it's live.
That's also an aspect of it I didn't consider. Huh. Wow. Awesome. Let's see here. We have okay. So our next question is from Manly Brian. What's the recommended way for people to get started on the series? Start from the beginning or not? Oh, okay. So we did kind of cover this. Don't start from the beginning. No.
Start from my beginning.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I'd say start from episode 15. You will. It's an RP heavy episode, so if you're looking for combat, you might as well start with episode 1 because we start with combat. But it's RP heavy. You can follow what's going on, but it should leave you going, well, I want to know more.
Yeah. And in it we get the viewer on board in those episodes because we also have to get Kim and Zalara on board in those
Right.
episodes. So even in the stuff that you've missed, all the unimportant stuff is basically cut down because we're trying to explain it on the fly what's happening. So
Who are you people? Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
There's a lot of that. Yeah.
And that's very true. And yeah, honestly, it really had me. And yeah, it's a fantastic podcast, folks. You got to listen to it
Thank
if you're not.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Kristen posted another question here, and awesome. What's your karaoke song of choice? I love this. This is like so off topic, but I did bring up karaoke, so hey, I brought it on myself. So why don't we I'm dying to know if Sam karaoke's at all. This is
Me?
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
So I probably, let's see, I karaoke'd last Wednesday.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
As
Wow.
recently as last Wednesday. What did I do? I did about 6 songs. So yeah. Yeah, you always got to open it up a little bit with some you got to give them something that they're not expecting. So you open with Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are
that's
karaokeing at Gen Con.
Yeah.
We have to.
So yeah, anything Christine sings in the Phantom of the Opera, that's my level.
Well, maybe we can't duet then.
I don't know. I'm like that. I am that one gay dude who does not like musical theater or anything like that, so I don't really know musicals very well. I don't know who Christine
A-okay.
is. I
That's
don't
A-okay.
know what that
know
means.
I know
but-
more than enough to cover both of us, so
Awesome.
we're good. Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome. I've got someone to cover that. Great. I'm free. So yeah. No. I liked Rent, and that was about it. So
Okay.
Yes, Rent would be fun.
uh
I've karaokeed once in my life,
really
and I tried to sing like a virgin because it was my first time karaokeing, and I failed miserably because I did not remember how the song went at all. And so like the audience had to help me out. It was really sad.
wait, there was no screen up there? With
Oh
the-
no, I like the words were there. I did not remember how the tune went.
Oh.
So until I got to the like a virgin part, I was just a complete disaster. It was great.
Wow. Okay.
Then I went on to songs that I actually knew, and then it was way better. But
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really? It seems like that would be something you would do more. Right?
no,
Huh.
I have 2 children, and my husband doesn't sing, and so
Fair.
and we don't do bar things, and
Yeah.
all the karaokeing is always at a bar. So
It
Mine's
is.
at a local pizza place, and it's amazing. I get pizza
Nice.
and karaoke, and it's just
that's fantastic.
you
I just
know.
kind of imagine Sam standing on that bed we see behind him with like a little like karaoke machine and pizza in one hand, just like singing Phantom of the Opera.
It's great.
Oh yeah, there's karaoke everywhere I go. It's amazing.
I bring my own mic.
Oh boy. Wow. I love it. I love
Sorry, I
it.
don't know why we're piling on Sam tonight, but sorry, bud.
Love you, bro.
Anybody else karaoke here? No. No.
I've done. I like Johnny Cash's "Hurt,"
Okay.
Aw.
too.
Mm,
And then Bobby Darin, "Mac the Knife" is a really good one.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have not karaokeed in forever. I think the last bachelor party I went to, and it was just margaritas all day and karaoke at night, and margaritas as well. So
Of course. You don't stop when you start marketing.
You really don't. No, they're like potato chips.
Yeah, when you get into the level of drinks where they serve them by the pitcher, then you're expected to just keep going.
It's true.
It's very true. It's very true. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Ryan? No karaoke for Ryan? No?
It's not to my knowledge. It's not really a massive thing in the UK. Not to my
Oh,
knowledge.
okay.
The
Okay.
only time I do it is in the car on my own when no one else can hear me and the windows haven't broken yet, which is lucky. If I was to do a song, it'd be "Every Time We Touch" by Cascade.
Ah,
Oh.
nice.
Cascade. Wow. I like that. Huh. Okay. And Alex?
I've karaokeed once. It was on my honeymoon on a cruise ship. It was a cruise that was mainly filled with people who were like 55 plus. Like the next youngest people to my wife and I, and we were in our 20s at the time, were like 40. They were the young people we were hanging out with.
Wow.
So I tried to sing. Oh my god! Oh, Mrs. Robinson, because I thought I knew that song,
Oh,
but I didn't know it at all.
Just the part from Wayne's World, right? So.
Yeah. That's how I thought of it too, not from The Graduate, from Wayne's World. And so I was up there trying to sing it, but it was adorable because we were so young compared to everyone. They were clapping along, and my wife came up on stage and helped me out. So, it was a humiliating yet kind of cute experience. So,
spousal bonding through humiliation. I think
Mhm.
that's how it works, right?
pretty much, yeah.
Legitimate.
But can
But
you
I've never
really
karaokeed since then.
can you really get humiliated in front of a bunch of senior citizens though? Like
I can confirm, yes, you can.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, story time.
Yeah. What's that about?
Well, the same thing as karaoke, you know. I used to perform as a child in front of old folks, so, you know. You can be humiliated in front of old folks.
I don't know.
I'm so sorry.
I just don't really feel that much shame in front of old people. Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
It's just because you're old, Matty.
Oh my god.
Yep, there it is. There it is, folks. I was waiting for that one. Oh,
Sorry.
I love it. I love it. Oh, God, this is great. Oh, awesome. Yeah. My go-to was it was basically it was Down with the Sickness by Disturbed.
Nice.
Ooh.
Just because I really like doing the and I can't even do it anymore, but it's the ooh wah in the beginning. Like that was my favorite
yeah.
part, you know, being able to do that and freaking people out at the karaoke bar. Because they're just like, what the fuck? You know, like that's not Careless Whisper. And then I would the one song that for whatever reason my voice could do really well, and I knew it very well because I bought the album back in the 90s and listened to it all the time, was Barely Breathing by Duncan Sheik. So you know, I could do that song well, so I did it like way too much, you know.
I don't remember it. Can you sing a verse?
Yeah, I'm not doing that right now. So anyway, unfortunately, yeah, so many years of smoking cigarettes is, you know, just made that shitty. So, alrighty. We got another question though from Manly Brian, and he asks, any funny memories from recording your show? And I should not have added a pronoun there. That is my bad. You know, but Manly Brian asks, any funny memories from recording your show?
We had a episode recently where we completely forgot about an NPC and that they were traveling with, and they were supposed to drop off somewhere.
That we had captured.
Yeah, that they had captured, and they needed to drop off somewhere. And we recorded like 45 minutes, and then Kim was like, "Hey, what about that guy?" And we were like, "Fuck!" So we had to go back and re-record. I think it's in the episode we just released. You can't tell. Sam did an amazing job editing.
Yeah.
He did an amazing job editing, but it was not good.
Yeah.
This is a major point for us. We need to get this guy.
Yeah.
Let's see, we were talking to Magnar's mother-in-law, basically, and stuff, and it was like, and just in my mind, it was picturing we've got this guy tied up and gagged in the background. It's great.
Yeah, it made no sense at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you do when you visit your mother-in-law for the first time, right? You just bring somebody that's bound and
Bring
gagged
prisoners,
with you.
Yeah.
You just drag them through the city without, you know, no one batting an eyelid at all.
No.
Okay, all
I
right,
think I'd
that's
agree with that one. Yeah, I think that's the funniest.
That's probably our biggest oopsie thing. So,
We're normally pretty good about that, but when it gets to the last episode of the night, we've recorded, you know, coming on the like 5th or 6th hour to get those 4 episodes, and you know, we're getting a little tired, a little slap happy. That stuff happens.
you start getting a little punchy. You start forgetting a few things. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, you forget a whole person.
Oh, there was the pockets thing. I loved the pockets.
Oh,
When
that was good.
Zalara was doing, she was trying to steal a necklace off of somebody, and she was like, I was like, wait, do I have pockets? Because, you know, girls don't ever. And so he was like, you get to have as many pockets as you want. And I was like, oh, what?
Yeah, and we went on a tangent for like 15 minutes about all the pockets. It was good.
So Zalara has 18 pockets in her dress. Canon.
Ryan got obsessed with calling things secret sauce, and
Yes. Yes, he did.
Well,
that
that's
was
not
cool.
everything.
It was
We cut
towards
out.
the night, I think, if I remember correctly, it's like it's 2, 3 in the morning for me. I get carried away with things and become even more tired than I normally am. I think you can normally see like every 3 or 4 episodes. It's just like a slow degradation of him, like from slightly mature and serious to more and more childish, and he gets mature again.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think about 25% of the special sauces actually made it into the episode.
It was a lot.
Yeah, I got
It was
carried
weird.
away.
quite
We
a
all
bit
had
of
our
it
turn
in
with
the
it too,
episode,
and then
so-
Ryan. Yeah, it was great.
It's just like 40 minutes of it. It's like, we need to cut this out, guys.
Yeah.
I am a big fan of and honestly, like I said, I haven't listened to too many of the episodes, but I like how I've skipped around a little bit, that there are literally some running gags, and the messaging
The relay station just starts up.
just because I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, and you get the voice starts booming over, you know, like, and it's like, okay, that's cool, and then they're like, no, you hang up, and I'm just I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I wanna marry it. I want to take it behind the middle school and get it pregnant. I'm like, I love it so much.
Thank you.
Yes. I like to occasionally quote 30 Rock. I apologize for nothing. But I will say, as a listener, there are a lot of at least, and I hope it's not just the episodes that I've heard, but there are a lot of moments that you guys just make each other laugh, and sometimes it's a lot of the time, and I love hearing that. I love hearing that because it feels like it's not just a show, that you kind of feel like you're sitting at the table with these people, and at least to me as a listener, it feels more immersive. So
I appreciate that. Yeah, because those are left in very specifically, because I get the exact same feeling when I listen back to it, you know, because we've had a couple of episodes where they were almost gone completely, and it's like, it's just not the same. It really isn't. You know, you get that real table feel that like things are really, really intense, and then all of a sudden somebody says something and everybody's on the floor. Yeah. Thanks.
And I think that's just real. That's necessary, and I love how you guys keep all that stuff in. So,
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, and that's entirely Sam who does all of our the track editing for us and puts it all together. He makes those decisions because there's a lot that's us going off on tangents too that doesn't make it in there. And thank God, because it's not good.
Which is why we decided we're never going to do a live show, because it's awful to listen to.
Oh, it's so bad because we've listened to a few of them. Just Sam's giving us the raw tracks, and
Painful.
And it's like double the length too. It's just
it's double the length and the same amount of content.
yeah.
So I mean, we're good at what we do. For people who don't know, you know, listen to our show. But I'm just saying, if we ever come out with like a stream show, you should, you know,
Bring beer.
yeah.
They become pre-started and then bring more.
but I think, I don't know. But streaming's a different thing. It's a different, you know, because I don't know. I mean, you're gonna have those. I mean, everything is, you know, up for the world to see. All the bumps and bruises and whatnot, but I don't know. I think maybe because it is visual and whatnot, there's also that where that's just baked into the cake.
Yeah, and you've got that live component where the people are able to interact with you. They're in on the joke and on the tangent when it happens that
Yeah.
you don't get after the fact, really, when you're listening back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely that. So let me see. Okay. That is it looks like that's all the ones we have right now from the audience. So and oh boy, I plowed through all that stuff earlier. That's hilarious. Our introduction aspect usually doesn't get that doesn't accidentally cover like 3 of my questions. That's awesome. I've never had 5 people guess on the show at once, so I guess that might be part of the aspect to it. So
And we told you we go on tangents.
tangents are great.
And I mean, are we the first that we're all cast of the same show?
No, actually, I mean, technically, my very first episode was with the cast of the Nerdy Point of View podcast, because they're very good friends of mine, and I've been, acting as a guest host on that show for the last month or so. But Martin's coming back and all that stuff, and we're going to be recording something tomorrow. That's great. Really excited to get back to doing that. But this is the first cast of like a game. Okay. So we're like
I just
complete
think that
cast.
might be part of it too, because we have no problem just talking over each other. And, we're obviously not being very polite to each other. So.
Or you, for that matter.
No, you're the only one who's insulted Matty.
That's my Discord husband. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we're Discord married, so she could say what she wants. I don't.
Yeah. Just like yes, dear.
Yes. And I've been a terrible Discord husband lately, so I deserve it all. Oh boy.
How dare you have life outside of the internet? Shame.
Well, the problem is that most of the life that I'm so busy with is still internet related. It's just not Discord.
No, I say that because like we have our own Discord, which we can maybe post a link to, but like I am the talker in the Discord channel, and then occasionally they come in and they're like, "Hey, so I have a question," or whatever.
Or
but most
LOL. See ya 5 days. So.
There you
we
go.
Discord like we tweet.
I definitely Discord like I tweet. Yeah.
Oh.
But that's why I'm the media maven of the crew. So
Yeah. I know. Oh. Yeah, I know. It's okay. It's all right. I mean, she's definitely, yeah, totally. Yeah. I know.
thanks, guys, for calling me out.
But no one can match Kim's interneting, Discording, anything. It's impossible. It's and it's funny because we were always just like in like 12 different rooms all at the same time, talking all the time. And then it's just like all of a sudden it's gotten to the point where it's like, oh, I haven't been on Discord yet. I need to go find Kim and say hi. And yeah.
And I'm sure other people think we are insane because in whatever room I happen to see you in first for the day, I have to glomp you.
Yeah. And we yell each other's names and stuff like that. And
it's a thing.
It's a thing.
But I do that with a lot of people, so sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. I haven't been a very good Discord husband. you know, so she can glomp away, you know.
Discord polyamory.
That's right. That's right. We're not Discord exclusive. Oh God, I feel so stupid for saying that shit. That's okay. Oh, there we go. We got some more. Oh yeah, that's a great question, Kristen. What's your favorite tangent that's been edited out?
Oh God.
Many.
So let's hear some. Let's hear some. Who wants to start?
Oh, most of them are just inane banter, honestly.
Well, there was 45 minutes of when Alex had to take care of his little one, and she wouldn't stop crying. So
Oh yeah.
we just talked, and while Alex was taking care of her, and that was like a whole episode's worth of just nothingness.
Yeah, there was I guess there's 4 episodes where you can hear her cooing a little bit in the background because Sam did a great job of cutting her out. But
I almost completely removed your baby from the episodes.
yeah,
Great.
it was good. But it was a nightmare for me because they would say stuff and I wouldn't respond correctly because I was half paying attention to them, half looking at her, making sure she wasn't dead. It was.
Yeah.
She cooed at like the perfect time. Sometimes it fit real well with the story because we have a baby in the group at a certain point. So it's just like, hey,
It worked, yeah.
real life,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or a lot of the tangents, honestly, we go off on is our own little like theories of what's actually going on in the background. You know, a ton of them are just like, you know, Alex is gone for a minute or two because of a thing, and we'll just be talking about like, okay, what's actually going on here, because when people find out in the show at least that things are happening, that's when we find out they're happening. You know, it's very much it's not scripted, it's not anything like that. Alex kind of keeps us on our toes, so a lot of it is us talking about different people. There was a really good tangent back right before Kim came on board, actually, and we were talking about this one guy called Blevin, right? And all of us did not want to be friends with Blevin, but the dice were making us friends with Blevin. And we were on a tangent. We were talking for like 15-20 minutes about how do we make it so that everybody knows that Blevin is this horrible person and that we're not friends with him. It was pretty good. I loved it.
That would have been one point while I was listening as a listener, like
Yeah.
screaming at you guys.
Yeah, you tweeted us every single week about how roll better. He's a bad guy.
Just love the number 8. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's our number.
it is like almost a mystical thing. We've had the number of 8 rolled more than any other die number, I think, you know,
Yeah,
for a
anything
failed
that's
roll.
critical to our success, you can almost guarantee we'll roll 8 on it. It's crazy.
So most of our perception checks are 8, especially
Yeah.
if Sam's rolling. So
Well,
Oh yeah.
you all have that perception check, so Lara's way better.
Yeah, Kim came
got
in
like a
with
+8.
that metagame knowledge of like, where do they suck? Let me fill in those gaps.
That wasn't even it, actually, because I'd never built a character before. So I went,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's why
I
we
don't know how to magic, so I'm going to go with something that doesn't do magic. And then I'm going to go, okay, so monk. I don't want to be like a straight fighter because that's boring. But so then Alex had apparently never dealt with a monk, so I made him learn things.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
never. And it was funny too because she wrote this like 8-page backstory, and you know, which is great, but she wrote it and it's all about her being a thief, and then it gets to the end, and I was like, you didn't mention her being a monk at all, and she's like, yeah, I know, I really wanted the thief backstory, and I just think the monk is cool, and I was like, well, we got to work together and figure out why she's a monk, because this backstory is great, but you got all these powers, you've obviously been trained, why?
Details.
not even
whatever.
a shadow monk either. So
I know. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, but it's great, and you know we're digging into her backstory now a little bit more in the current episodes, and the audience should learn a little bit more about that as we go.
Awesome. Oh, okay. We have an anonymous question. What podcasts that are not your own would you recommend? You're asking for it, folks, because Kim's got a lot of them. But
Oh god.
Just a few.
Yeah.
maybe
I'll let y'all go first.
maybe we should let everyone else answer first.
Where's my phone?
Well,
Yeah.
as far as like a fun actual play, if you're going for that, I really like D&D LCP. It's a Western themed podcast. They also start with some action, which I prefer as opposed to. There's a lot of podcasts out there where it's like, listen to our world episode. Now listen to 5 episodes of character backstory. And I'm like, I'm interested in that, but let me get involved with the story first. And that's
Right.
a podcast that does that.
Start with violence.
Yeah, start with violence. As we say, it's has God intended a D&D podcast to start. So that's a good one. And then what I just discovered is Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's one that you got to get through the first few episodes because the sound quality is not where it should be. But once you do that, it's freaking great. And if you're looking for like advice podcasts, then Total Party Thrill
Oh yeah.
is great for DMs or players. A lot of good advice on that.
Yeah, one of their episodes actually was the sole inspiration for my character Margraine on the podcast. I listened to it and I was like, "Oh my god, I know exactly what I'm making as a character now." They're awesome.
And then for DMs, there's another podcast called Adventure Hook, which I also recommend. And it's just a couple guys. One's a comic book writer, creator. The other guy, I can't remember. But they're people who are in the creative arts, but they kind of sit together and they brainstorm out different adventure hooks based off of like a one sentence idea.
Okay.
So I'd recommend that if you're a DM.
Nice. Anyone else?
I listen to a lot of podcasts that aren't D&D.
Oh, okay.
An extreme amount of podcasts that aren't D&D.
Oh, wow.
This is how I get my resident, know-it-all cap. Because
Fair.
it's like, oh, this obscure topic. Let me listen to this for like 50 hours and figure out all the things about it. But with some of the ones, most of the ones that Alex mentioned, I listen to. I enjoy WebDM, their Patreon only podcast.
Okay.
That's a really good one. I think there's a lot of really good stuff in there, and I just really like Pruitt and Jim. Let's see. Sneak Attack's always awesome. I think everybody in the world knows about Sneak Attack at this point, but they're great. I love them. So yeah, that's mostly it to do with Dungeons and Dragons and pretty much everything Alex mentioned.
Okay. Oh, Ryan?
Kim has more for sure. I'm positive.
I don't listen to many podcasts. The
Okay.
only one I really listen to is Critical Role, apart from us.
Okay. Well, that's
They're the ones that got me hooked on back into D&D back when just before I started meeting these guys. I
okay.
listened to I think 30 episodes of theirs in the space of 3 days.
Oh, wow.
It was almost constant. So apart from them, it's just us.
I get that. Ben, what about you?
I used to listen to a lot of podcasts, but I kind of got burnt out
Okay.
with them. But I did listen to one of my favorites was Dungeon Rats. They're like a improv comedy group, I think, that just decided to play D&D. And they are hilarious. Like, I thought they were an evil adventuring party, but they're just really stupid characters. And like they can't do anything right. So it's amazing. Yeah, Sneak Attack.
That sounds
First,
fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dragons is a really good one, but there's like 400 episodes, so
Oof.
I'm like, I don't know if it's that many, but I'm like maybe
like-
halfway through. So
Yeah, it's like 370 something. Yeah, that was the
Okay.
first podcast I listened to back in the day, and it's great. I just don't. I love it, but I don't know if I could like recommend it because it was one of like 5 podcasts, D&D actual plays when it came out, and they were playing 4th Ed, and
Oh,
they weren't editing at the beginning, so each at first I don't know, like 50 episodes is like 2.5 to 4 hours long each.
Yeah.
And
And it's all combat. So
and it's all combat. So
yeah.
I love it because it got me into it, and I think their newer episodes are great. But I don't know. It's yeah. I mean, it's worth checking out if you got time to kill for sure, because it gets really, really good and really, really funny.
Yeah.
And Dungeon Rats also, yeah, amazing.
Oh, Venture Maidens. I've listened to a considerable amount of Venture Maidens. They're
Okay,
really-
yeah, they're great.
They are great.
They're awesome.
are you
I
ready?
I think so.
Yeah. Go on.
Okay, so the first one that I really, really like is Another Path. They're four fellows out of the Ohio area, and they do more of a theatrical bent to their podcast. Lots and lots of puns, which I absolutely adore. And
Robbie
they actually,
Graves, the necromancer. That's what hooked me.
right. And then they're Mr. Ender at the bar. I'll let you listen to figure out what that is. But then they have a spin-off podcast called Zach and Griffin's Multiversal Pet Shop,
Yes.
which has been adorable, and I love it. Because they talk about different pets from the monster manual and like talk about how viable they would be and all like the like, would this be a good thing or a bad thing, and where would you use this and stuff like that. So they have been adorable. And going off the sneak attack one, Josh has actually started his own podcast called The Titans of Altera, and that is amazing. And I absolutely love all of the characters, and they've done such a really good job of making a new world. And Josh just, they're going to be making like a world book because Josh is just over the top on everything he does. But that has been adorable. That's relatively new, so there's only like maybe 10 podcasts out, 11, something like that. CPD&D, I'm actually gonna be on that eventually someday. Chasm Quest is another one that I really enjoy. They bring in the occasional guest, and they have a lot of fun. Bombarded is another one.
Okay.
They have a group of all bards that are at a and they actually play music. Every episode they come up with a new song. They roll chord dice, and they develop a song in the whatever. It's not an actual like within the few minutes, but within the time that they are recording, they break, go do their recording, and then they come back and finish the song and go on.
Oh,
And so that just blew my mind and got me playing piano. So,
okay.
kind of in love. Fate and the Fable Maidens is another one. It's an all-girl podcast, and they are family friendly, and they just have a really good vibe. I really just love how upbeat and positive they are. And Nerd Therapy is also another one with a lot of people from all over the world, actually. So there's some really, really good, if you like the accents, so delicious.
And for Nerd Therapy, I just finished creating a new logo for them. So
Yay! That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
And then Party Advantage is another one that I've recently gotten into. And Cassie is an amazing DM. And I don't know. I like girls DMing. So, but
I do
Venture
too.
Maidens
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
that's awesome. Oh my gosh. Is that it, or?
I can stop there.
Apparently it was Alton that asked. So there you go, buddy. Alton is also the person that used to live tweet our show back when we first started the Threads of Fate, and used to freak us the fudge out. I said fudge again.
FYI, in case you didn't know, Manly Brian is actually on the LCP D&D podcast.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, it's that Brian.
That Brian and Demuse Tim is the DM. They're in the chat.
Okay. There we go. All right. We'll add that to the list. Holy cow. All right. Let's see.
Can I just
here.
say, I have a lot of respect for podcasts where they are family friendly, because I think it's evident throughout this. I have a hard time not saying fuck. within like an hour-long conversation. So that takes some restraint. That
I don't think that's a restraint I have at all.
yeah, exactly.
I would say though with ours though it's turned out surprisingly low cuss words for at least knowing all of us. It's turned out surprisingly low. But I think the theme might be a little bit mature at times. So yeah.
Just a little bit
Just a little.
with random smokable things.
Yeah. Adults need D&D podcasts too.
I agree. Adults need all this stuff, like is yeah. I don't know. I mean, personally, yeah, I don't really cuss a lot. But I don't think that I don't know. I don't know if I would purposely try to do something family friendly. I honestly thought about it with this very show in the very beginning. I think my first episode, I was doing the first episode with my friends from Nerdy Point of View. And they are, I mean, that is not a family friendly podcast, because they use language like the whole time. And mostly Brian, but, but it's there. And so I was just like, I remember like before we went on, I was just like, so I'm kind of thinking maybe just like trying to keep the cuss words down just because, I don't know, like I was just thinking maybe, like people would have their kids around watching or something like that. I don't know what I was thinking. And then I just said, fuck it, so, it's like we're adults. Let's just have fun.
Yeah.
But I definitely respect that too, as well. Because it's not easy. It's not easy to do. Not for everyone, at least.
No, and I like gore, I mean, we do a lot of descriptions that are,
They
people's
creep
guts
me
coming
out.
And, that's fun. That's part of the fun of D&D, I think, is the over-the-top violence. Like what something happened a few episodes ago where we said that Hibonite had the overkill feat from Fallout.
Yeah, parts exploded off of what was it, a fireball, or it's fire or
I
something?
think it was the wand of lightning bolts.
Oh,
yeah.
was it that? Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
And so parts just started shooting off the guy that he hit. It's awesome.
You just gotta be sure, double tap.
Yeah, and doing the sounds, like my favorite sound to edit in is the squishy sound when like a hammer hits a head, or it's the same sound, but I just love throwing that in there. Or even like the bones snapping. It's really cool. I enjoy that.
I personally really enjoy the sound effects that are added. And they always kind of surprise me from now and again, because it's not something that you normally hear. When you're like, because I'm mostly, I don't listen to a whole lot of podcasts. I have a hard enough time keeping up with all the streams that my friends are in, and because everybody's got like 20 games that they're playing in and stuff, so it's hard to keep up with all this stuff. But you don't get that a lot with the streams, and so I'll be listening, and then all of a sudden you hear like a squish, or you hear what is it? Something happens. I can't even remember the sound, but it is just one of those things where you're like, oh, I like that. Yeah, it's nice. It's
Thank you.
It's a nice addition.
That's all Ben there. He spends, Sam and Ben do the like real heavy lifting for our show as far as putting it together. As far as the editing, Sam cutting out all our tangents and nonsense, and then making the pacing, which is a huge thing. I mean, like I said, we've heard our episodes unedited without those pauses taken out, or maybe they're a second or two too long. And Sam's very good at knowing. Basically, he does like, if it were a film, he'd be the kind of the director. I mean, editor too. But he gets the scene a lot of times, the emotional depth it needs to, just from cutting that, and then Ben just enhances everything and makes it more immersive because of those sound effects and the music
Oh,
he
yeah.
puts on as well.
No, it's so much more of a show once Ben gets his hands on it. Like I couldn't release anything without him touching it at this point. It wouldn't be the same show.
No,
So-
yeah, it's just not, because we do want to. I mean, that's kind of been our goal, is to mix that radio program sound with the okay, you're at the table feel. I mean, that's kind of been our statement from before we started. That's what we were going for. So, yeah, I mean, that the sound effects just add so much and make it far more immersive, I think, and hopefully it helps us stand out in this field that's full of actual play D&D podcasts out there.
Yeah, it's definitely become a very crowded field. Both podcasts and streams. It's which is fantastic. That there is so much content out there, that it is so much more accessible for people to get involved with, and to learn and stuff like that. But yeah, it is hard to kind of stand out.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is just putting out quality consistently.
Yeah.
That's why we say don't listen to pre-15.
I'm working on that, Ben.
Yeah, we're gonna remaster it, but
but that's fair, But we all have those periods where we're all figuring it out, So, and okay, well, we are, we're past the hour and a half mark. Okay, we've got more questions. Oh no, we don't. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong thing again. No, we're out of questions. So, golly. Yeah, it's been another one of those weeks, folks. Very busy, lots going on. But seriously, this has been a fucking fantastic time. Guys, thank you all for being here.
thank you.
I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, this was a blast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed myself a lot.
Awesome. Kim and I, we started talking about this a while ago. I'm so glad we were finally able to get this scheduled. Because it's not easy. It's not easy getting all these people together, especially when, like with your group, you have someone that lives on the west coast of the United States and someone that lives over in England. That's like, time zones are
Fun. Time zones are fun.
no. As a streamer, they're not fun. Oh, they're not fun.
Amount of times I tell, I was like, "Oh, is it an hour or is it in 2 hours' time?" I'm just gonna clear the 3 hours before our recording, just to make sure I'm there on time.
Yeah. I mean, I've gotten really, like, my mind does math very well generally, so like the time zone math has gotten really good in my brain. So it's like, if someone tells me like it's something Eastern, I'm good, like I can pick it all out. But it's just one of those things. Yeah, it's fun. Whatever. So I super appreciate you guys doing this. This was not only a lot of fun, but a really cool experience, just having a whole cast of a D&D live play podcast, especially one that I am very picky when it comes to listening any podcast. Honestly, I don't really listen to a ton. I loved the Nerdy Point of View podcast when they first started, and they happen to become just like my best friends over time. And they're one of those podcasts that I listen to religiously. And there are a couple actual play podcasts like Murder Dice and Wizard on the Wind that I'm a big fan of. They have great casts, and they put a lot of work into the shows. And there's some great people behind the microphones there. So, I'm just grateful that because if it wasn't for Kim, I probably would never have picked this up. And
Thanks,
listen
Kim.
and listen to it, and I love it. I absolutely love it, and I will sing your praises until I lose my voice, or somebody kicks me off the internet, or somebody stops, people just stop listening to me altogether, which is going to be soon enough, because who wants to listen to this guy all the time, But no, you guys doing it.
So self-deprecating.
You guys, I am. But you guys are doing a great job, and
Thank you.
keep up the good work.
So are you. This show is amazing, and I
Yeah.
love it.
Thank you.
It is. I was here for your first show of this, and literally, I think I sent Kim like 20 messages during the thing. Like I really enjoy this.
Thank
so.
you. This is just a little passion project. It's a lot of fun. I just like talking to people. I like meeting people, and I like I like talking to faces. I like talking to people face to face and with voices. Well, thank you. And you don't really get that on the internet as much. It's just not as Discord and
Personable.
Twitter and all that stuff is great, and I use them all the time. But this kind of stuff right here, where you get to talk to people, see their faces, see their reactions, hear their voice. It's my crack, okay? This is definitely my crack. So, yeah. And
We're not even cocaine to you? Come on.
no. You
No,
want
it's so good it destroys his life.
yeah, exactly. And like cocaine is great and all, but like you really want crack, like you really want that crack.
Yeah.
And I really want this. It's fantastic. Oh God, I'm going on a tangent. There we go. This is where I wrap the show. Wow. So we're gonna go around the table, and everyone go ahead. We're gonna tell them where they can find you on the internet and what you're up to, of course, outside of the show. And while we do this, I'm gonna just change the screen here to our thank you screen, and so everyone can see the link. The oh boy, and I added the, so I'm sorry.
How
But
dare you?
the actual website is there for everyone to see, so they can make sure to check that out if they're not already listening. And I have everybody in the right place. Awesome. That's fantastic. Okay. So why don't we go ahead and move down the line, and we'll start with Alex. Alex, where can people find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
You can find me at Alex the DMBE on Twitter, and I kind of use that. I mainly tweet from the Beholder's iPod, our official podcast Twitter, and then of course check out our website, Beholder's iCast, and yeah, that's it. I really do nothing besides this, so we'll save that for Kim.
That is very fair. Oh my goodness. Sam.
Well, you can find me at Samslot007 pretty much anywhere.
Just not on
don't-
Twitter.
Don't go on Twitter. I'm a lot more active everywhere else. I'm working on the Twitter thing. If you want to get in touch with us, there's mail at beholdersicast.com. I monitor the emails and stuff like that. So if you want to get anything directly into us. Also, we're doing an upcoming Q&A episode directly for the podcast. So I've got I can post some links and stuff in the chat for that in a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of all me. I don't do anything else except this on the internet mostly.
Okay, that's very fair. Yeah, folks, I'm sorry about that. What I typed, I'm trying to type something in the thing, and do two things at once, and I kept saying folks. I said folks twice, and whatever.
How dare you? Using the same word twice in a sentence.
I think we should probably do Kim last. Is that probably fair? I think we should probably do Kim last. We'll save the best for last, right? That's what we're doing. Ben, what about you?
So Twitter is my most active at Miro4D2. And other places I'm either that or just Miro42. So sometimes it's the 442 is taken, so I have to do 4D2.
Okay.
And so that's Twitter. Instagram, I think I used to post on that, but I don't anymore. So but I keep intending to. Like I keep intending to do a lot of things, and
I like it.
follow me anyways.
How are people going to know what you're eating for dinner?
Oh yeah.
He does art too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
great
all of our
art.
character art.
Exclusively
great
art. So.
Yeah, and if you guys, if you go to the website and you can see it all, it's really good. It's really good.
Thank you.
Ryan, I know Ryan does something else on the internet, so that's good. Ryan, where can
So,
people find you on the internet?
You found on at Duff the 3 or 3rd, depending on how many characters a website lets me have. And I do try and stream occasionally. I'm not particularly the best streamer, and I do enjoy it. Good strategy games and fun. And you can find me at Duff 3 on Twitch. I haven't been streaming for a little while, but I got to get back into it soon.
Okay. There's that question that I was going to ask and I forgot. Please, before we get to Kim and before we leave, can you tell us where Duff the Third came from?
It was a conversation with my friend. It came from, I used to be on Xbox quite a lot. And
Okay.
my friend was, he was the third person in his family with the same name. I was like, oh, I like the third. And I was like, I wanted to put, but I couldn't put the RD on it on Xbox. They had limited characters. I was like, I'll just put the 3. And it's like, it kind of works. And I've just kept it ever since. It's just it's the name I've kept.
Okay. Because when I saw that, I was just like, I love that handle. There's got to be a story there. I don't know. Duff the Third.
It's not the greatest story. It's just came up with it randomly one day. It's just stuck ever since.
All right. That's a fantastic handle. Okay.
Thank you very much.
I love it. Okay, Kim.
Okay, strap in. So on top of Beholder's Eye, I also do Service Desk podcast, which Matty made this lovely shirt for me. But anyway, that is a tech podcast in which we try to explain the more technical jargon to those who are less savvy. So we dive into all kinds of topics, and you can find that everywhere that podcasts are found. And then I'm also over on Welcome Party RPG every second, fourth, and fifth Tuesday. I do Mimic Nights, in which I get to play a half-elf druid named Denise that gets up. He's got it. Who gets up to all kinds of shenanigans, like, climbing up to the chandelier when there's an important state funeral happening, whatever. And then once a month, I am now part of the non-toxic gaming community. They do a fundraiser game. So the next one of those is going to be February 9th. And I get to play a halfling dancer bard. So that's really fun. She's quite lewd. It's hilarious. But next month we will be raising money for takethis.org, and it is a charity to raise money for mental health stuff. So yeah, we switch that charity up every month, and yeah, so those are my main things. And then you can find me as Mets Girl in most of the places. I do have a Tumblr that's Nerd Fighting Bibliophile, but anyway.
That's it? Huh. All right.
I've learned to say things very quickly.
Yeah. That's fair. Well, folks, I am so grateful for all of you being here and hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for your questions. And obviously, yeah, well, no, not obviously, I guess, because yeah, you might have stumbled upon this for the first time. So my name's Matty. You can find me on Wednesdays and Fridays over on Soul Bear RPG's Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/SoulBearRPG. Wednesdays and Fridays playing Dungeons and Dragons, where I play either a Hobgoblin War Wizard or a Dwarf Dragonborn Kobold cleric of Grave Cleric of the Raven Queen. Obviously, I'm here on Saturdays, most Saturdays, and next Friday or next Saturday. Next Saturday is going to be a big one because not only am I having two fantastic guests, the two creators of the Retroverse, at Snickle Socks and at Uis Abadias. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I have been saying it so many times recently. But they're going to be here hanging out with me for an hour and a half. And then I'm going to run a Retroverse one-shot. With them involved and a couple other people, and I think I might have a slot open, so I don't know, we'll see. But we're going to do that next Saturday, so please come hang out with us as we do the whole Retroverse thing. Going to be off for the 9th because got to do stuff with the hubby, you know, every now and again. And we'll be back on the 16th, hopefully. That's the plan. So, with that all said,
At the 23rd, you're doing something else, yes?
yes,
Syncrat?
that's right. That whole thing right there on the screen. The 23rd and the 24th, we're doing a big fundraiser for my friend Alex, who I game with on Fridays. She's a fantastic person, but she's also a traumatic brain injury survivor, and she needs some medical help to improve her way of life. And we're trying to help raise some money so that she can get that stuff taken care of and live a better life and be able to stream again and more often. She doesn't get to stream as often as she used to. It's one of those things that's helped her a lot through her disabilities and stuff like that. So, and if you've seen the show, I had Alex on the show. I also had my friend Derek on the show on the same time. And they talked about how traumatic injuries and whatnot can, when you're dealing with them, sometimes gaming and streaming can help you through them. So these are, you may see us doing these things and think, oh, you know, they're just having fun. They're just playing games and, oh, that's not important. Sometimes, folks, it's therapy. It literally is. So, you know, just be kind to one another. Okay? And I'm trying to click over to my dashboard so I can do that raid thing because I wasn't there. And I can't do two things at once, like talk to people and move a cursor. So, yeah, I'm so terrible at this sometimes. There we go.
Multitasking is hard. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm old, you know.
You gotta upgrade your RAM.
I really, I don't know if I can anymore. But there we go. Okay, raid.